Fans couldn't believe what happened during their latest appearance on morning television. In front of millions of viewers, Kelly Ripa did something she's done 1,000 times before, but this time, it hit different. She looked at her husband live on camera and she just couldn't stop gushing. If you think you know Hollywood couples, think again. Because there's one pairing that keeps proving, morning after morning, that real love doesn't fade under studio lights. It gets brighter. Welcome back to the channel, because today we're diving into the sweetest, funniest, most talked about moment from Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, the couple who turn a talk show into a masterclass in marriage goals. If you're new here, let's set the scene. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos are not just co-hosts. They are, without a doubt, one of the most enduring couples in entertainment history. Married since 1996, raising 3 kids together, and somehow, after almost 3 decades, still acting like they're on their honeymoon. That's the magic of Live with Kelly and Mark. It's not scripted romance. It's not a storyline written by producers. It's 2 people who genuinely like each other, sitting behind a desk, riffing off one another in real time. And audiences can't get enough of it. But to understand why this recent moment went viral, we have to talk about who these 2 really are. Kelly Ripa built her career on charm, wit, and an almost supernatural ability to connect with an audience through a camera lens. From her early days on daytime soaps to becoming one of the most recognizable faces in morning television, Kelly has spent decades mastering the art of making viewers feel like they're chatting with a close friend. Mark Consuelos, meanwhile, has built an entirely different kind of career. Soap opera leading man, television producer, and more recently, a scene-stealing presence on shows like Riverdale. But even with all of that success, nothing seems to light him up quite like sharing a stage with his wife. And that brings us to the moment everyone's talking about. It happened during a recent episode of Live with Kelly and Mark, and it centered around one of Consuelos' biggest personal milestones, his Broadway debut. Consuelos took the stage in the production Fallen Angels, stepping into a completely different creative world than the one he's known for. Now, stepping onto Broadway for the first time, at this stage of his career, is no small thing. And when he sat down to talk about it with Kelly, you could feel just how much this experience meant to him. He admitted that opening night felt unlike anything he had ever experienced before, even after years of stage and screen work. But it wasn't just his words that captured attention. It was Kelly's reaction. As Mark reflected on his Broadway run, Kelly lit up. She turned to the audience and, beaming with pride, introduced her husband as a genuine Broadway star, celebrating his achievement in front of the entire studio. It wasn't a rehearsed bit. It wasn't a planned segment. It was a wife, proud of her husband, unable to hide it on live television. And then something even sweeter happened. Kelly didn't just celebrate the milestone. She praised the entire production, name-checking his co-stars and gushing about the caliber of talent surrounding him. She specifically highlighted his fellow performers, calling the trio of leading ladies extraordinary. It was clear she wasn't just supporting her husband out of obligation. She was genuinely impressed. But that wasn't the end of the story. The conversation took a flirtier turn when Kelly brought up one of Mark's more surprising challenges from the show, mastering a French accent for his role. She teased him about how convincing his performance was, admitting she found herself second-guessing whether he was actually French while watching him on stage. It was playful. It was warm. And it was exactly the kind of banner fans have come to expect from these 2. Except this time, it felt just a little more tender than usual. Fans immediately started reacting. Clips from the segment began circulating across social media within hours. Viewers flooded comment sections with hearts, praise, and plenty of relationship goals energy. Many pointed out that after nearly 30 years of marriage, most couples settle into routine. But Kelly and Mark? They still look at each other like there's a spark in the room every single time the cameras roll. And that's really the heart of why this moment resonated so deeply. In an industry where celebrity relationships often feel curated, filtered, and distant, Kelly and Mark offer something refreshingly real. They argue on air sometimes. They tease each other mercilessly. They've openly talked about the ups and downs of balancing marriage, parenthood, and demanding careers under a public spotlight. And that honesty is exactly what makes moments like this one land so powerfully. Because this wasn't a couple performing affection for an audience. This was affection that simply couldn't be contained, even in a professional setting. It's worth remembering, too, that this isn't a one-time thing. Anyone who's followed Live with Kelly and Mark knows that unscripted, heartfelt moments have become something of a signature for the show. Whether it's the two of them laughing through an on-air technical glitch or sharing a genuinely emotional moment while talking about their family, the show has built its identity around authenticity. That authenticity is exactly what keeps millions of viewers tuning in every single morning. In a media landscape dominated by polish and perfection, audiences are craving something human. Something that feels less like a broadcast and more like eavesdropping on two best friends who happen to be married. And Kelly and Mark deliver that, episode after episode. This particular moment also says something bigger about where their careers are right now. Mark stepping into Broadway represents a new creative chapter for him. Proof that even after decades of success, he's still willing to challenge himself in unfamiliar territory. And Kelly's reaction shows exactly why their partnership works so well. She's not just his co-host. She's his biggest supporter, both on camera and off. It's the kind of dynamic that reminds fans why this couple continues to dominate pop culture conversations year after year. They're not chasing headlines. They're not manufacturing drama. They're simply living their lives publicly with humor, honesty, and an obvious, enduring affection for one another. And in 2026, in a world where celebrity relationships often come with more skepticism than admiration, that kind of genuine connection stands out. So when people ask why Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos remain one of the most beloved couples in entertainment, moments like this one answer the question perfectly. It's not about grand gestures or dramatic declarations. It's about a wife who still lights up when her husband walks into a room, even if that room happens to be a live television studio with millions of people watching. At the end of the day, this is what makes their story so compelling. Not scandal, not controversy, just two people who found something rare and who aren't afraid to let the world see it. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Kelly and Mark are the ultimate example of a Hollywood couple who stood the test of time? Or do you have another celebrity pairing you think deserves that title? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this celebrity update, subscribe for more entertainment news and Hollywood stories.